You tell me when. So good evening, and thank you for being with us for the July Putnam Republican Club meeting. We appreciate your being here. I'm glad no one melted on the way here. It was 103 on my thermometer on my dashboard. I was shocked. So hopefully it'll be okay. And I heard some of our guests, their chickens aren't laying eggs. It's too hot for them. So anyway, so we're gonna open up our meeting with our prayer and our pledge. If I could have our leaders come forward, Charles and David. David, if you come up and lead us in our prayer.
All right, let's all stand. Lord, thank you for this day, and pray that you bless this time together. Pray that you take each day that we can hopefully make a change with our hearts and with the community and with the state, the United States. Pray that you remember this is the 2051 year that we have this nation, that we need to dedicate our lives and dedicate our spirit to you. Pray that you bless this time and help us make right decisions. In Jesus' name.
Join me as we salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So tonight I want to recognize a couple of our dignitaries. We have elected officials here. So one is Charles Overturf, our supervisor of elections. Thank you for leading us in prayer. We have Leora Wilkinson, our chair of our county commission. We have Josh Alexander on county commission. We have Larry Harvey, county commission. After we have three other elected officials, Walton, thank you. I didn't see you come in. Walton, any other? Oh, and Brenda Bridges. So our tax collector. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Carolyn, from Interlochen City Council, correct? Yep. County Council. Thank you, Carolyn. I'm sorry, my eyes are like getting really old and I cannot see that far anymore. And I know we have several visitors here for the first time. If you're a visitor, if you could raise your hand or stand and let us recognize you, we would appreciate it. So, thank you so much. And we have a couple of new members. I think the Blooms that just stood up there are new members. This is their first meeting tonight, so we appreciate having them here. And then we want to, by all means, thank our veterans for this. If you will stand and let us recognize you, I see a number of our veterans. So, our fourth wouldn't have been a very happy fourth without the leadership and the sacrifice and the service for our veterans. So we certainly appreciate you guys. So sort of the first order of business, because we're getting into this year, we're starting in with our sort of heating up with the elections. And so I want to go over a couple of basic rules that we have as a club. And if you're new, you might not know these. Some of the older members or the members who've been around a while will understand the rules. Understand that these aren't necessarily club rules. They're rules that the club has to follow. That the rule is either mandated by the Republican Party of Florida or by Florida statute. So a couple of the rules that pertain specifically to campaigning is that as club members, you are not allowed to come into club meetings wearing logoed shirts supporting any candidate. Now, it's a different story when we're having something like tonight. So tonight, if you were supporting or being part of the staff or the entourage of a candidate, then it would be appropriate for you to do that in that particular case. We have to, as the club, be mindful that we support, at this point in time, prior to a primary, we support all of the candidates equally. That's why when you come here, you would see in months past, we would have petitions for all the candidates that want to bring the petitions here for us to sign. We have materials up front that you are welcome to take out of here. The same thing with the headquarters. So any candidate that's Republican can bring their materials in. So I just wanted you to understand that in particular. After the primary is when all the Republicans that are part of who've made it on to go to general. We still, as a club, have opted to not officially endorse. We've left that endorsement up to the RPOF and up to the RAC, so that we don't get into the middle of that. And so, while that's not in a rule, it's been our sort of our policy, unofficial policy that we've had over the years. But there has been a slight change in the Rule 8, what's called Rule 8. I want Larry to come up and tell us what that unofficial or the official interpretation is now of what Rule 8 is, and then what this new interpretation is.
Well, hello, everybody. All right, so I know I can't help myself. I'm tired, hot, been a long week, so it's great. REC business, okay. So let's kind of go over how they make the tire, and then we'll sell you the tire in just a moment. The REC is what? The parent company, right, of all counties. There are 67 RECs in Florida, so the Republican Executive Committee. And then there's multiple clubs underneath those RECs. So the REC currently, where we stand right now, we can endorse candidates, okay? But we have chosen not to do that because it has to be done by the membership and a voting thing. Once the primary is over with on August 18th, that evening, then whoever is successful to go to November is automatically endorsed by the RPOF and by the REC. So our job is to promote Republicans, no more, no less. Our job is to get out there and help our Republicans win elections. Not Democrats, not MPAs. Our job is to do that for the Republicans. And you can wear shirts, you can do that. But we ask that you just be mindful of the same thing that Rhonda just said, that we're here to help our Republican people get through the primary. And then we can, like I said, then whoever's successful at the primary. And we've seen that. You've been reading the news about some of what's been going on in some of the RECs. And truly, we have 25,600 and something, 668 Republicans, and we have an REC of about 70-something people. So when you really stop and think, do we really want to take sides in a primary? I say no. Let it work itself out. That's what the job of the primary is. The primary is closed. And people go, well, that disenfranchises people. No, it doesn't. If you want to be a Democrat, you can get out and be a Democrat. You want to be an MPA, you can go be an MPA. I had a lady to tell me today, I want to vote for you. I said, how are you registered? Independent. Well, you got a few more days to change so you can vote for me in the primary. And that's what we're all about. We're about promoting Republicans. So make that very clear, and hope we get that. We will, you got an announcement, but we'll get to that later on and move that forward. But again, the headquarters is here to help you. The REC is here to help you if you're a candidate, and the club's here to help you if you're a candidate. And then after August 18th, we'll get back together and support the Republican nominees for office. Thank you, Rhonda.
Anita skipped school. So the reason I bring this up now is you all may have seen on social media, on network television, in the newspaper, that there's actually 2 sitting county commissioners and a former mayor in St. Johns County that all may be facing arrest for endorsing candidates through an entity, a Republican entity, when they didn't have the right to do that. So they violated state law. It's a misdemeanor, but it's not played well for them in the press. So it's a serious business, which is why I felt like we needed to talk about it. And if we need to address it more in the future, let me know if you want to have some clarification. So let me ask right now, does anyone have any questions about what we're talking about? Okay. So it really is serious, which is why I wanted to bring it up, and let's make sure that we all understood. Now, Larry is correct. After the primary, and whoever our Republican candidates are, the RPOF has decided that now automatically they're endorsed. So they could say, we are endorsed by the RPOF, and then we can, as a club member, if you want to wear their paraphernalia into this meeting, you're welcome to do that after the primary. Okay? Perfect. So moving on, we have David. Do you have an updated number for us for the membership? 87 members now. Yay! Thank you, David. Appreciate that. If you don't have a name tag up at this table, please see me after this meeting is over. I want to get a list, and then David and Candy make name tags, and we'll make sure you have a name tag at the next meeting. So that would be important. Some of you, if you're returning members, we may still have your name tag in a little stowaway bag we've got here. We might be able to find it and dig it out, so that would be appreciated. The last thing I want to do is I think I saw John Browning sneak in. Did I see John Browning sneak in? Yeah. John. How about coming up here a minute? Come on, John. Don't be shy. Come on, John. I'm not going to let you go. Come on. Let's go. Come on. You know, I think this is only the second time I've ever called you up here. So, what for?
What did I come up for? What did I do?
So how many people have seen the beautiful lights on our bridge? A big round of applause needs to go to this man, John Browning, who made sure that it happened for us.
I'd like to take it all, but there's a lot of people involved. Larry came and made the thing that went off like you saw in the movies, and we pushed down, and Josh back there went several nights. We went down and practiced. You know, you always worry about, is it going to work? You know, 1, 2, 3, it doesn't work. So we practiced 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it did. I think it looked good for the county, and I think it looked good for the Republican Party. There's Leota who saved it in front of some other members that didn't think it was a good idea. We always thought it was a good idea. We think it's funny because Larry, we were having breakfast, and he said, I think it's going to be about 2028 for those lights get on there. I said, Larry, the lights are on there. You probably saw them working on the bridge, and that's what they were doing. But actually, DOT, when we finally, I just got to the secretary, and we did it, and within 6 weeks from the time we did that, DOT themselves did do a contract, installed them themselves, and did them. So thanks to you, thanks. And I can't help it with the paper prints, but it was this bunch of Republicans that have done it, and we've done a lot of things together, and thanks for letting me know.
Thank you, John. We appreciate it. So, Leota was very instrumental also, because understand that while John had gotten the state to agree to put the lights up, we as a county and the city of Palatka had to agree that we would do our part. So I wanted Leota to share a little bit about what that is and her role in that.
Nothing like putting me on the spot. So this came in front of us a couple years ago. It was actually one of my biggest debates as a newer commissioner at the time. And it was state money. And it didn't make sense for us to turn it down, because the fact of the matter is it was going somewhere. It wasn't like it went back to the pot and then it got spent on the road. That wasn't an option. The option was they had money for a bridge, and they had picked Putnam County, thanks to John Browning, and said, we can light up your bridge. And it was a big debate at the county commission. I mean, we debated it 4 different times. And when we finally called for the vote, there were three commissioners. And the newer commissioners that are here today are very supportive of the bridge, but they were not on the commission at the time. And at the time, it was the first time we really had a big debate and a big split between us. And it ended up being a 3-2 vote, so it barely got by. But it was such a challenge. But I really felt in my heart that it was the right thing to do, because I think it becomes a focal point for our county. And when people come over and they see that at night, and it's supposed to be lit, I stepped outside for a call, I don't know if John talked about this, it'll be lit every night, basically, unless something were to happen. And it remains red, white, and blue. Is that correct, John? It remains red, white, and blue. So no other colors. No other colors. So it's always going to be red, white, and blue, and be patriotic. And it becomes not only a center point, but it shows pride in our community and our downtown area. It's going to attract people. It's going to attract and improve the downtown area and just the overall appearance of Putnam County. So we are proud of it, and thank you for mentioning it, Rhonda. But it's very patriotic, and that's the part that we love about it. And it was a little bit of a surprise for everybody. So surprise!
So if you're a boater, take your boat down there and take a look. If you're not a boater, go down to the park and the riverfront and take a look. It's gorgeous, lit up at night. So we're all very excited to have that. And again, John, thank you so much for that and all the other things you do to help our county. We really appreciate you. Good, thank you. All right, with that behind us now, Buddy, you want to come up and we're going to, everyone's concerned about Buddy's arm and wondering what role did his spouse have to play in it, but I don't know.
Had to get that yard cut. But she's fine, she just twisted it around, you know. There's nothing really wrong. It's a rotor cuff that I have been putting off till I injured it a little over a month ago again. And this time, my wife and the doctor said, you're going to have to get this thing taken care of. So. And I would not have this on, but she got home before I got out of the house, so she told me to make sure I had my sling. And I don't do anything she says. Anyway, we've had a few changes. Our speakers, we had 5 speakers planned. It seemed like one by one they bailed out. But Larry Harvey's competitor, Joey Edgar, anyway, he decided he's not going to be able to speak. Justin Campbell, Commissioner Justin Campbell for the city, has a family get-together, so he couldn't speak. His opponent, Brianna Pierce, was supposed to be here. She had something come up, so she couldn't be here. So
But fortunately, we're gonna have Larry Harvey, who tells us, all the good things that we need to know. And Constance, who's actually in my Rotary also. Constance is gonna make a good mayor, and she's gonna come up here and she's gonna explain things to you. And after they finish, I'll tell you what we got coming up next month. So Larry, if you come up and lead the way first. Just this for you.
10,000 comedians out of work, and here's Buddy applying for something. Well, thank you, Republican Club. Thank you, Buddy, and thank you, Rhonda, for having me. I am Larry Harvey. I am longest running commissioner we've had. So served with Commissioner Palatka when I first got there in 2014, appointed by Governor Scott. Had to go through about, Donna, 60 people to get confirmed to be there, and Miss Donna was the last one who said, I'll take a chance on you. And she said, be careful what you wish for, right, Miss Donna? So, and Constance, you're also a member of my Rotary Club, not just Buddy's, by the way, because I'm part of the Rotary Club. He always forgets that I'm out there, but that's okay, Buddy. We don't mind. So, I've been here my whole life, let's be honest. Went to Catholic school, for those of you who can remember where the Catholic school was. Mosley Elementary, right across the road. Middle school, split sessions. Go in the morning, go in the afternoon, hated the afternoon. Palatka Central High School, go Bulldogs, right? Purple and gold. And then Palatka High, the second graduating class out of what we called back then the new high school. We still call it the new high school, but it's not new anymore. It's a long time from that. Came to college here, was homeless, slept in my car most of the time, but was able to work. Met my wife Linda at the grocery store in Larkin. And if those of you who don't know my wife, she's 4'10" and a half. So she needed something off the top shelf of the grocery store, and that's how we met. And we've been married for 42 years. I love Putnam County. And let me tell you why. Putnam County is the most giving county I've ever seen. We might have some issues here and there. We might squabble amongst ourselves. But when there's a need, we bail in there and take care of it. And we do. And Leonard's right. I remember I mentored commissioners throughout the state. And first thing I tell them, if you can't count to 3, you got a problem. And why is that? Because when you come off of when you bring an idea up in front of the board and you don't hear 2 more amens, that's a lonely feeling. And Commissioner Palatka told me early on, that won't last for long. Don't worry, you'll get over it. Because you'll make a motion and it'll die. And that's just the way it is. But we can't talk in the back room. We don't do any of that. And we're very cautious about how we protect the Sunshine Law. But I remember my first vote was the landfill, keeping the landfill. And we worked, and I learned early on, if it's gonna go downhill, then study it. That's what you do. You study it really quick. So we got the board, I got the board to pass a thing that we could study the landfill. We could set up a committee. I'll never forget. And we kept the landfill. Commissioner Palatka was one of the yes votes on that one too, but I was going on, my heart was beating out of my chest. So Leota, you're right, when the bridge thing, we knew. I was in favor of it, so was Leota, but Paul Adams kind of came in the last moment and bailed us out on that because it was not going to happen. And was the right thing to do. You know, the votes that we have to take, they're not always popular. I got chewed out last night from a guy in Barton who I went to school with who was just adamant that we wasted a ton of money. But let me reiterate something Commissioner Wilkinson said. That's bridge money, bridge lighting money. It's not road money. It's not landscaping money. It is bridge lighting money. And if we don't get it, somebody else gets it. And we wanted to have our neighborhood lit up like other people do. Because the calls we get sometimes are, why can't we be like Jacksonville? Why can't we be like this? Well, we can be like it. We just got to stand up. And John Browning, I'm going to tell you, you don't have a finer representative in roads or anything in this state that you don't go to Tallahassee and you walk into a room And you don't see a whole lot of doors, but all of a sudden the wall opens up and there's a room there and decisions are made there. And John's part of that room. So John, we thank you for all the work you do and all the hard work you do to keep our roads and our place safe in Putnam County. Thank you, John, for that. So let me kind of get into it. This isn't a job, it's a calling. I believe very, very purposely that God calls people to do jobs that they're not equipped to do. I wasn't equipped to do this job. I just had a heart to do this job, and I wanted to do this job. And I wanted to be part of being successful in Putnam County and promoting what I love the most. And we've been very successful. In the past few years, we've increased funding in our Sheriff's Department. Our EMS services have seen a major increase. Firefighters, their wage went up. And I got called out the other day just because I stand by a fire truck doesn't make me a fireman. No, but I darn sure know how to outfit that fire truck and how to spend money on that fire truck, and I know what people need in that fire truck. So that's the important thing. Animal services. I mean, we've heard that for when Carl Beck was alive, when I first got there, do something with our animals. And I'm a big believer in taking care of animals. I know I get beat up about my stance sometimes, and I tell you about Frank the cat down the road. But I've offered to neuter Frank the cat. His owner doesn't want that done. Personal responsibility is what I'm about. Parks and Recreation. If you haven't seen an improvement in Parks and Recreation, you're not looking for it. But we have done a ton of money into Parks and Recreation, and it shows. We have so many visitors that come from out of the county to enjoy our Parks and Rec. In our Veteran Services, let me assure you that other people from other counties come to our Veteran Services to get help. And we're looking to expand their facility so they can do more and more for that. Quickly, property tax reform. I think we all want property tax reform. There's no doubt about that. But what does it mean? Does it mean somebody else paying the bill? We got to be careful about that. And recently you had Tom Leake up here who was kind of worried about what that's going to look like. I've met with Sam Garrison, our incoming Speaker of the House. We're a political subdivision of the state of Florida. So all counties are a political subdivision of the state of Florida. We don't do anything on our own that we're not able to do by statute. Let's make that very clear. So they're going to have to give us the tools to take care of our people. I've had people say, well, don't you want to do a budget that scares everybody to show them what they're going to give up? We don't know what they're going to give up. We have some ideas, numbers, but to be honest with you, I don't want to scare people that you're going to lose this deputy or this EMS or this. We don't know all that yet. So let's be mindful of that before we go into it. I do think we need to educate ourselves on property tax reform, but even if you notice what the governor wanted to what the state legislators turned out, Governor DeSantis said he's not even campaigning for it right now. So again, did we really win here? I don't know. 150,000 homestead exemption in Putnam County hurts us, but do you really think it hurts people in Orlando, Miami, Tampa? Doesn't mean a thing to them. It really doesn't, but it hurts us big time. Because the complaints I get, why don't we tax the first number? Why don't we tax the first 25,000 or 50,000 and let everybody pay something? Because, you know, when I call 911, I want them to show up just like you want them to show up, right? So there is a balance there. And also, let me say this. I'm very proud of the time that I got there. And it's easier to govern when you have money. When we first got there and I served with Commissioner Palatka, the property appraiser would come in and say, your growth is zero. You have no growth. But the sheriff still needed an increase. The constitutional officers needed an increase, okay? And I remember Jeff Hardy throwing the keys to the jail down the table and saying, y'all run it now. I can't afford to run it, okay? With zero growth, that's what happens. But we haven't had zero growth. And Senator Levy mentioned on the Senate floor, Putnam County was one of 10 counties that was able to do the rollback rate. We worked so hard for so many years to get to that point where we could take the rollback rate. And it all worked out perfectly for us last year. Don't know if that'll happen again, but we're gonna take advantage of that. You're gonna hear me say data centers. Everybody's scared to death of data centers, these mega data centers. You know, we've all talked from our seats up there. I'm gonna say this, I didn't work this hard to save Rodman Reservoir. I didn't drive to Tallahassee for a 3-minute conversation with state legislators to let our natural resources be depleted by mega data centers. So this commissioner is not interested in 10,000 square foot building that takes our environment and all of a sudden produces 3 jobs. Not interested in that one bit. I do want to say this in closing. I want to thank all the commissioners that I have served with over the years. It's been an honor and a privilege. It's been the highlight of my life to do this job. It's the best thing for a type A personality because you can go from one topic in the morning to 15 different topics by the time you go home. You can be praised at public for one thing and chewed out on the phone for another thing. That's just the way it works. But again, we're all Putnam County. And you know what? We all want to hear what you want to say. And we work for 75,000 people. I get that. I have 75,000 bosses. And we've already determined how many Republicans there were. But we work for everybody. This current board is dedicated to moving this county forward. And it's a pleasure of mine to serve with them and to hear. And Leota, the chairwoman here, the only female on the board. Sometimes she has to, guys, pay attention here, let's all get straight, but she keeps us in line. And I tell you what, it's an honor and a privilege to serve with Commissioner Alexander, Commissioner Newbold, Commissioner Palacio, Commissioner Wilkinson. It's just an honor. And believe me, we don't go in the back room and talk. We can't do that. So everything we say has to be done in the public. And sometimes that's a little frustrating because you don't want to embarrass people. You don't want to do that. But sometimes you go, okay guys, have we thought about this? Have we thought about that? And we stand our ground. I remember a time Commissioner Turner and we had a workshop meeting. And if you didn't know Commissioner Turner, he could get stuck in his ways pretty hard sometimes. And we were fighting about a road that needed to be done. And I was entrenched in it, and he was entrenched in it. Well, I had to drive to Sarasota that night for a function and with the Florida Association of Counties, and it was pouring down rain. It was raining all throughout Florida. And at the end of the meeting, he said, "Come here. We're not going to end this like that. We're going to hug. We're going to love each other because I don't want this to be on my conscience." That's what we have to do in county government. We are the political subdivision of the state of Florida, but us 5 have to work together, and we have to find a way and not take it personal because it's not a personal thing. It just might not be the right time, okay? So, in closing, I remember the day I got the phone call. Would you like to be a county commissioner? I was humbled. I was blown away. And again, I had to meet with a lot of people. I met with Susie Wiles in Jacksonville who put her finger in my face and asked me a very hard question to see if I would own it, and I did. And then the last one was Miss Donna Holt right here, who said, "I'll take a chance on you." I don't think she regrets it yet, so we'll see. But again, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's a calling to serve. And none of us, our net worth has dropped since we took office. I can guarantee you that's taking place. We're not lining our pockets. We're not doing what you hear the national media tells you that we're doing. We're not doing any of that. And we're recognized as being one of the top counties in Florida. And that's important. So, I ask for you. God hasn't told me to stop. I'm continuing to do what He told me to do until He tells me not to do it. So I'm going to run again, and I would appreciate your vote on or before August 18th. Thank you very much. Vote for Larry Harvey.
Now, if Miss Constance would come up here and I know a lot of you don't live in Palatka, but this is an important office that affects all of us.
Good evening. Thank you all for the opportunity to come before you to share with you the vision that I have as your future mayor. Before I am elected as mayor, I'd like to share with you that I'm an attorney. I've been in practice for over 30 years. I'm an alumni of the University of Florida. Go Gators. And my entire maternal lineage is from Putnam County. My mother moved here to take care of my grandmother, and she lived until she was 114. I moved here initially during the pandemic because my mother lived alone after my grandmother passed, and I didn't want my mom dealing with the pandemic by herself. We didn't know what was going to happen and how things were going to go, so whatever was going to happen, she and I were going to be together. And then the doctor said she should no longer live by herself, so I moved up here permanently. I've always had judicial aspirations, so I ran for judge in 2024. God didn't say no, he just said not yet. And so I'm still here. Putnam County is my permanent residency, and the city of Palatka is my future career, to add to that of being an attorney. I envision Palatka as a community where everyone matters, even pets. Even pets. You and I together can make this city a better place. I believe in transparency. I believe in accountability. I believe in solutions. And I hope that as your next mayor, you'll give me the opportunity to demonstrate those beliefs. I'm from a family of veterans. Almost every branch. My father, the U.S. Army. My two brothers retired from the United States Marine Corps. My uncles, all three of them retired from the Air Force. My mentor and friend are Navy veterans. So I'm cut from good cloth. I'm proud to be a Rotarian. I love it that Buddy and Larry are bickering back and forth, but we have a founding member here too. And if you could just raise your hand, Mr. Bennett. Curtis Bennett is not only one of the founding members of the Rotary Club of Interlochen in the Lakes, but he's also a retired Navy veteran. So, you know, God puts people in your life for a reason. He puts you in situations and circumstances for a reason. So I'm often asked, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to change things? Well, the first thing I need to do is listen to the constituents, because this is not my city, this is our city, this is our community. So I need to hear how you feel about what's going on. Honestly, I've heard a lot, and I've been approached a lot. That's why I'm running for mayor, because I know there's a lot of work to be done, but I have a work ethic that's unmatched. So I intend to work extremely hard as the mayor. I intend to be transparent, and I intend to be held accountable for those things that I say that I'm going to do, but there are 4 other people who I intend to influence to do the right thing too. I'm confused a lot about what's happening up there in the commission, but I'm willing to learn how to do it better, what I need to do it better. And as an attorney, I'm used to understanding laws, understanding rules. I'm obligated to follow them. But as an advocate for our city, I'm also an advocate for those people who are vital to our city. This isn't an exclusive list, but hear me out. I just share with you that I'm from a family of veterans. I advocate for them. Why? Because but for them, our freedoms that we share on a daily basis, the flag that we pledge, the safety and security and the integrity that we have as Americans are as a result of standing on the shoulders. Some of us standing behind them, saying thank you for your service, thank you for your honor, Thank you for the will to fight and protect us. I'm grateful, and I hope that you all are too. I know you are. I see how we pride ourselves in saying thank you for your service, because I'm also a member of the American Legion Auxiliary, and so since I've been a member, I've learned this phrase. All gave some, but some gave all. And I'm emotional about that because that excludes you and I. But that includes some of us who we know. Mr. Bennett gave me the pleasure of doing a poem for Robert Jenkins during his scholarship banquet, and I can tell you I garnered an even greater amount of respect for what our veterans do. Because if you don't know, he dove on a grenade to save his comrade. I'm not sure how many people will do that, but I understand that becoming the mayor of the city of Palatka, I'm diving into some stuff, but I'm ready, and I'm asking that you join me in diving in and making a difference. And by the way, I was just down at the docks the other day, and I thought, Mr. Browning, that those lights were just in honor of our birthday. I am grateful that they're there permanently because they are awesome. I took so many selfies in front of those lights and had my sister take so many pictures of me. They are awesome. So thank you all. That bridge is amazing. And I'm also proud to be a part of the party, the Republican Party, who's responsible for making it happen. Another one of my visions is education. I want a Palatka where the children can receive quality education. And I'm not casting any aspersions on anyone, but education is always room for improvement, especially now with all of the AI that's there, and that, which makes me extremely nervous. But I'm nervous because I don't understand it all, but I will. I'll learn. And while I'm learning, I'm praying that we offer opportunities for mentorships and opportunities to educate our senior citizens about the new age. My 87-year-old mother stays frustrated because she doesn't understand why things just don't work. We don't have control over it, Mom. However, as we continue to teach and as we continue to embrace, let us embrace young folks who can help us to understand this, because I think they're birth knowing it. My 4-year-old granddaughter does stuff with technology that I don't do yet. So let's give our kids the opportunities, our grandchildren, that they need so that they can be around to help us. Let's love on them, let's educate them, let's give them the foundations that they need to be constructive citizens. I envision supporting our local businesses so that they can thrive. I wasn't born and raised here, but I said earlier my entire maternal genealogy is from here, so that means every Christmas and every Thanksgiving and most Mother's Days and all summers, I was here. In fact, I thought I was allergic to Palatka because back then the paper mill, oh my God, I had never smelt anything like it. Although sugar cane is a different kind of smell, and that's what we did down in South Florida. I was born in West Palm and raised in Belgrade, so that was a different kind of smell too, but I was used to it. I broke out. My skin, I got pimples every time I came here. So I told my mom I was allergic and I shouldn't have to come back every year. She disregarded me. But I have seen a very scarce downtown. I've seen very scarce local businesses, and I now see businesses thriving. I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of what makes us better. And Commissioner Wilkinson, so I saw in the paper where there was an issue when there was a conversation about collaborating, and someone thought they'd make an issue with it, but trust me, just like when we work together at A Night to Shine, I'm willing to collaborate. That's what I want to do. I want to do what's necessary to make Palatka better. I want to do even more to make Putnam County better. And when I ran for judge, I listened to Josh Alexander talk about what he wanted, collaboration was one of his primary focuses. So I look forward to joining and working with the county commissioners so that we can win. We can have a stronger community. Larry, you talked about some of the things that I wanted to talk about, and the other thing is to attract more visitors. Putnam County is awesome. We are growing, but our natural resources, our natural appearances is better than most, hands down. Now, I swam and water skied in Lake Okeechobee, but the St. Johns River, my brother told me, is the only river that flows north. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you live our family is from a very unique area. Every time I meet someone who's not from here, they love the natural component of Putnam County. I could do without the brick roads and somehow filling them in, because they are pretty bumpy, but they are super cool. I love them. There's nothing like them. So I love experiencing the riverfront, our history, our festivals, which should attract people from everywhere, and they do. I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club, and I didn't understand the significance of the bass tournament. Oh my God, the hype, the azalea festivals. Let's keep that coming, and let's make it better. So when our businesses continue to improve and our local shops continue to thrive, and prayerfully some of our local students and kids can work there, even if it was for summers, let's make it better. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I don't want roadblocks. I don't know what's happening to prevent that, if anything is happening, but you wouldn't have that issue for me. So I look forward to a time when I can sit as mayor and I can show my appreciation for your trust in me, and I can fight for what we need in this city, and I can argue when people don't feel that we need what I know we need. And so thank you for letting me know, Larry, vicariously through you, Mr. Pellissier, that there are going to be some no's. But you know what? When I opened my own practice, I was told by a senior attorney, you're going to have some issues, but you need to understand that that's just one. You got a whole lot of clients to work for. So I worked as a prosecutor at the state attorney's office. I worked as an assistant public defender, and as a single mom, I found it necessary to be a private owner, a private business owner, because I needed to be present for my son, who I took to college with me when I was 18 years old. So I understand the importance of hard work, the essence of integrity, the need to stay focused, to have the right temperament, and I assure you that as your next mayor of the city of Palatka, I'll take all those credentials with the structure and the discipline that I've learned from my own life and from the life of those who are my military mentors, and I'll make you proud. So I'm asking you that if you don't vote early, on August 18th, vote Constance Daniels for mayor. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Constance. Yeah, I think having a Republican thinking mayor would be a big improvement for Palatka. Just saying. Next month, I've got Florida Power and Light's going to come in and do a nice presentation of being prepared for the hurricanes, hurricane preparedness. They do this pretty regular, and I think it's something we all need to. A lot of us grew up here, and we always were prepared, but there's some people that's never been through a hurricane. And even those of us that's been through these hurricanes, it wouldn't hurt us to go through and listen and the new things that are going on to make our lives safe. Back then, we just did what Grandma and Grandpa told us to do and filled up buckets of water, and because we knew we were going to lose electricity, that's just the way it was. Stock up on food, but everybody canned food back then. We don't always keep food. Now, if the storm is coming, the aisles in Walmart will be empty of all water except Dasani, but they'll all be gone. Anyway, so that's what we got coming up next month. Thank you for sharing, and like everybody, we need everyone to go out and get the votes in. I don't know how to say it any better than that. We need to have Republican votes. Thanks.
So if you notice the sign in front of the podium here, this year the RPOF came up with the logo, the slogan. So their slogan that they came up with, every Republican vote. Well, that's great, but we already know from statistics that not every Republican votes Republican. So Larry added this tagline on. So these signs are available. Larry, is there a charge for these?
Yeah, sure there is. Yeah.
A donation. If you'd like to take one of these signs home and put it in your yard or your corner, please do that. If you can give a donation, that'd be wonderful. Please remember that we also have the literature up front and signs up front. If you want one of those signs, please feel free to take that home. We're going to ask now that we have Rebecca Miner. Rebecca, would you come up? And Rebecca's going to give us a little update in Randall. Come on up, Fair, and give us a little update on the Young Republicans.
Hello, good evening. My name is Rebecca Miner, and of course, this is Mr. Randall Fair. Okay, so we are starting the Putnam County Junior Republicans, and we have been working on it. So right now, our next Junior Republican will be in August, which is less than a month away. And we are trying to encourage them individuals to vote Republican. Well, you can't vote now, but when you turn 16 years old, you can actually register to vote early before you can actually even vote until you're 18. So we are encouraging them. So the first event is on August 4th on Tuesday, and it will be at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And we are just encouraging people from 13 to 17 years old to learn so we can educate them on what it means, so we don't just throw them in the deep waters. We start small and we keep moving forward.
So they are going to be doing some things and getting some other young people. So if you have a son, grandson, niece, nephew, neighbor, please give them information. We have included the information in the newsletter, so if you get the newsletter, please take a look at that. You can always forward it on to a friend. We're going to be putting some information out on our social media page for the club. The meeting will actually be at the headquarters, correct, guys? Yes, at the headquarters. And they'll have some pizza there. They could also use some funds, and so I think everyone knows that as a club we had an organization a number of years ago that did not move forward. We have given those funds over, but if you have a little bit of money, $5, $10 you'd like to donate for them to help reach out to teenagers and get them educated and not indoctrinated, that would be very helpful, so we would appreciate that. Before we wrap up for the night, Charles, I talked to you earlier, so I'm not springing it on you this time, at least this time. If you'll come give us a little bit of information, I know we are now past qualifying. The number of people who are going to actually be on the ballot has narrowed down, if you want to talk about that, and any other thing that's weighing heavy on your mind as the supervisor's election.
I know it's time to go, so I'll be really quick. I have to mention the mayor's race because I've got two really unusual things there. Two of the candidates are mayors. I have been mayors in the city of Palatka. One is current, one was from several years ago. The other thing I've got two that their last name is Daniel and then Daniels with an S. So you think about that, it is very unusual. So Ms. Constance is going to want you to drop down to the third one Tatiana is Danielle, she's the second. Robbie Correa is the current mayor, and then Carl Flagg is the fourth one on the list, and he's the former mayor. I don't believe that that's ever happened before, at least not in my time, as far as that's concerned. Larry has done a great job tonight of talking about the goals, what's been accomplished, and what he wants to do going forward. There are 25,000, and we made it over 700 now, Larry, Republicans. But the scary part about it is, in previous years, when it was a governor's year race, the August primary, statewide turnout, 30%. So when you stop and you think about 30% out of 25,000, we're talking about 7,500 votes total, okay? I'm proud to say you all did unbelievable a year and a half ago in the presidential, where we were at 80.6%, which was the highest. And we also turned in over 36,000 ballots. So when I sit here and I think about 7,500, so, you all can help us get out and tell people they need to. I have so many people say, oh, well, Charles, I'll see you in November when it really counts. You know what? It counts in August. Yes, there's statewide races for governor and for senator and stuff like that that are very important. But you know what? Our local people are the ones that influence us the most. Our county commissioners, our school board, our mayors, our council people in the cities, that kind of thing. So please help us try to get people out. I got several that are workers in here, and I've been telling them in our classes, I hope we're not going to be sitting there twiddling thumbs on election day, and it shouldn't be that way. As has been said tonight, we have so much to be thankful for our veterans. And if it hadn't been for them, as she said tonight, him diving on and saving the lives of other people, and you and I might not be here. We might not have this luxury of being able to come and not have to worry about somebody putting a gun to our head and telling us we're wrong and we've got to change and do something different. It's that kind of stuff that we ought to make sure. And so, you wake up that day and you got a headache, please go vote. Those guys didn't drop behind enemy lines and go into the bunkers and stuff like that. They probably had headaches too. But you know what? They did it, and you and I have the benefits of that. So I just plead with you. I think November is going to be a lot busier, mainly because of what Larry mentioned tonight about the tax amendment proposition that's going to be on the ballot. So I'm expecting a lot higher turnout. I don't know that we'll hit 80%, but who knows? We can sure shoot that, for that goal. But I just plead with you to make sure, because we got a lot of great candidates. They really work hard. They want to serve you. So let's do the best we can to find out who's going to be the best, and let's vote for them. But please get out and vote. Thank you.
And I'm thinking everyone in this room knows, but Miss Leota Wilkinson is unopposed, so she has automatically won her race. Thank goodness. We need you there, Miss Leota. All right, so we're wrapped up for the night. I'm calling this meeting to a close, but we have the drawing for tickets. Let's see if Barb is coming forward.
I didn't hear you, Yellen.
Headquarters. You want to come give an update on headquarters?
Hello, everyone. What a nice crowd. Listen, we opened up our headquarters last month, and we've opened up a couple of Saturdays, not last Saturday, but there didn't seem to be too many people coming. And I know that Larry sent out emails to everyone, and I would like it very much if you come by. We did spend a lot of time decorating and taking orders from Lana and pushing Larry around, and we had Tinker and Jenny helping, and I think it looks beautiful. And I really would like it if y'all could come, spend some time with us. Yes? Yes, Josh, Commissioner?
Why don't you come up?
I didn't hear it.
Okay. I will tell you. Okay, let me just tell you, it's gonna be about. Okay, in East Palatka, we have a ribbon cutting, grand opening for our most favorite pickleball court, which also has a covering, like a pole barn covering. And it's also gonna be a dog park. And it's going to be there, it's between 207 and, what is that, Putnam County Road, where the post office is.
Near the post office.
What?
It's on McCormick.
Oh, well, I didn't know, I've been doing drive-bys for months now. It's on McCormick, it's kind of in the middle, you can't miss it, it's a park, okay? It's a dog park. So anyway, we will be, yes, Tim? All right. I didn't hear it, and that's good. Anyway, please come Saturday. I'm going to open from 10 to 2. And just come in and say hi. Check it out.
Is that already said
For now, and because nobody came in except for Christy Lee and her husband. So, yes.
We're located at.
Oh, yes, we're back at the same old place, and for those of you that don't know where it is, it's across the street from Publix, on the opposite end of Sherwin-Williams. Very conveniently located, so come by. Thank you.
All right, ladies, so tonight we're drawing 2 tickets. One winner is going to get a Freedom t-shirt, and the other winner is going to get a challenge coin of Florida